All right, joining us right now is Stephen Green, a political science professor at NC State. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Good to be here.
Well, Professor, a lot has been said about the congressional elections going on right now, and for good reason. There are dozens of contested races in the General Assembly right now as well.
Right. There's a very big issue going on in North Carolina right now, whether the Democrats are going to be able to break the supermajority in the state legislature. And if they are able to, it probably runs right through Wake County.
And that supermajority is something that the Democrats want done away with because they want to take that veto. They want the governor to have that veto power.
Right. It essentially makes the governor irrelevant in the legislative process if the Republicans can override all the vetoes. So changing that would be a big deal.
Do you think it's actually possible for that to happen?
Oh, yeah. I think it's probably likely that that will happen. As far as the overall majority of the legislature, now that would be a real big reach for the Democrats.
What races are you looking at that could be big upsets tonight?
Well, there's a number here in Wake County, NC 36. Julie Von Hafen versus Nelson Dollar. Also in Wake County, the state Senate race there, Sam Searcy versus Tamara Behringer. Let's see.
So quite a few races that you're thinking that could impact.
Yeah, and again, really right here in Wake County is kind of the epicenter of Democratic efforts to break that supermajority.
Talk about the Holding and Coleman race, how kind of muddy that got coming down the stretch.
Well,
it's dirty.
Yeah, I don't know that it's that much muddier or dirtier than a lot of races I've seen. I actually appreciated that George Holding actually came out against one of the Super PAC ads that was run on his behalf. Obviously, the results on this are looking encouraging for Linda Coleman so far, and if that does happen, that's a really good night for the Democrats.
Now, was that one of the races nationally that the Democrats said, hey, we can possibly have a shot at taking that, flipping that seat?
That's like a reach. Like, hey, the Democrats are saying, hey, if we get this, it's a really good night, and if we don't get it, we can still take the House majority.
Let's talk for a moment just about some of those amendments that are on the ballot. We're just talking about Marsy's Law. Why do you think people are against this? Why do you think people are for it?
Well, I think, being for it, it's just a very straightforward, you read this, sure, who doesn't support victims' rights?
You're
right. As far as being against it, the Democrats have run a pretty vocal campaign saying, look, all these amendments are unnecessary. They're messing with the state constitution in ways we don't want. And even if you support victims' rights, I think for the Democrats to try and say, well, some of these are okay and some are not, it's just a much clearer political message to say, vote against all of these. And so that's been a clear Democratic message.
That's right. Okay, Stephen Green with us, a professor of political science at NC State. We certainly appreciate your insight. We will have more from you a little bit later.
As those numbers start to roll in, thanks so much for joining us.